Right, I have about 17 hours clocked on Deus Ex Mankind Divided at the time of writing, probably more after this goes out, and I've completed the main story as well as the Day 1 DLC Jensen stories, tiny little bit of the minigame Breach. Figured out I might as well just voice my thoughts on it. I've given it enough time for some people, but not all, to, get a good grasp on whether they should get or not get the game. So when the first Deus Ex came out, I was young, like very, very young. So I didn't play it until maybe 2007, 2008 on my old laptop. I'll admit, never finished it. I could never get into the groove of the game. But I did adore the setting, the theme, the characters that I met during the playthrough. And after going back and playing the first and second during the wait for Human Revolution, I found myself worrying that it would be a flop. And it will be the death of a great franchise, like other people who liked the game and who I had shared my love of Deus Ex with. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. Human Revolution still sits on my shelf next to Fable 2, Sleeping Dogs, Metro 2033, and Last Light are some of my favourite Xbox 360 titles of all time. This is before I got my PC, so I was a console scrub. So, Mankind Divided.
Brief synopsis.
Adam Jensen, 2 years after the events of Human Revolution, is an operative for a UN task force called Task Force 29, an anti-terrorism unit and possible precursor to UNATCO, whilst living in Prague. The global disposition towards augmented folk isn't the best, and as far as I know, Prague is the worst place for an augmented person to live in, with an almost apartheid-like system going on between orgs and naturals, with their own train carriages, the police constantly stopping and harassing augmented people because of prejudice, and if the org is too troublesome or they haven't got the right papers, they are sent to the Utilec complex or Golem City, essentially an org ghetto in outside Prague. The setup and tutorial of Mankind Divided is set in Dubai during Adam's first mission with TF-29. Overall, I found the story to be shorter than I was expecting. I was at the final mission and I was only thinking I was about halfway to maybe 2/3 through the game. The story, like all Deus Ex stories, focuses on deep philosophical questions, with Human Revolution and Mankind Divided focusing on transhumanism or some bollocks like that. I digress. Gameplay wise, it doesn't differ too widely from Human Revolution's core gameplay, with a few additions and tweaks on the formula. You have your standard augments like health, bioenergy, strength, dermal armor, hacking, social enhancer, typhoon, all this nonsense. All the stuff featured in Human Revolution, as well as some new experimental orgs which are explained through the story, including, but not limited to, a neodymium shell, or as referred to as the Titan org, which was featured prominently in not only the box art but also some of the trailers for the game, as well as remote hacking, where you don't have to be, pressing your augmented nipples against a computer to hack it. You can hack it from the other side of the room, as well as the ability to fire Adam's nanoblade from his wrist as a long-range silence attack. And the Typhoon, as I've already mentioned.
Org lives matter!
There is a tiny cosmetic edition where you can change his combat gear and coat, depending on if you have a pre-order or something. I didn't look into that too much. I've got 3 separate outfits, and one of them is the regular outfit that you spend most of the game through. The supporting characters that Adam meets are also fairly compelling, and to name a few without trying to spoil too much, there's Jim Miller, TF-29's director in the Prague division. He's a conflicted character. It's clear from the onset that he's distrustful of Adam, like many people, because Adam is very augmented. But he wants to give him a fair shake like everybody else, and he also seems to be a fairly competent boss. You've got Duncan McCready, who very colourfully called me a bellend during the tutorial, and he's the counter-terrorism sort of head honcho of the Prague division of TF-29. I quite like McCready. Even though he's distrustful and kind of a dick towards Adam at first, he occasionally banters with him at various moments, and I see him and Adam's working relationship more to be sibling rivalry than anti-org sentiment. Then again, I liked Brink, so my perception could be considered very wonky.
Moving on!
You've got a host of returning characters, including Alex Vega from Deus Ex The Fall, David Sarif, the man himself, from Human Revolution, as well as minor appearances and mentions of Frank Pritchard from Human Revolution, Joe Manderley, who is alluded to in Human Revolution, and Bobo Page. I won't list any more for the fear of spoiling. I'm more interested in the design, the story, the characters, the themes, rather than the gameplay. Although liking the gameplay is a big plus, I found that while everyone has their own opinions and thoughts, even in regards to the god-awful decision to add micropayments into the game that only work once, that aren't unlocked throughout all playthroughs, which is something I know from Star Wars The Old Republic with their cartel market fucking bullshit. Overall, if you're new to the series, play Human Revolution first. It's cheap as own brand Coke at this point, and if you're a returning fan, play it. As many are more interested in the continuation of Adam's story than any new gameplay feature, although like I said, it is a bonus. I look forward to seeing how they tie Adam Jensen and his adventures into the original Deus Ex with UNATCO and JC Denton and his adventures. Those are my thoughts. Hang on. They also, this was a seller for me. They turned a meme into a difficulty. Yes. Can you remember that awful forced meme that I never asked for this? The line that Adam says once and somehow it's sort of become a, assembly. JC, a bomb, what a shame. Basically, that I never asked for this difficulty is the same as Give Me Deus Ex, which is the hardest difficulty, but you only have one life, so if you die you have to restart the entire game, something I find quite funny.
Woo!
Anyways, that's it from me. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what yours are. What do you think of Mankind Divided? Have I been inaccurate on something? Let me know. Alphen out.